cards, and real-world asset tokenization, official registration in Hong Kong, and the first features in global media. The creation of Aurum Neobank, the launch of Zeus AI Bot, and the flash loan license surpassing $1 million in profits. The opening of our headquarters in Dubai, where hundreds of industry leaders gathered. The world started to talk about us. We were featured by Binance, Benzinga, Crypto Reporter, and Blockchain Wire. Forbes called us the new infrastructure of global finance, but this is no time to pause. We're gaining momentum. We launch Aurum Academy, strengthen our team, and appoint Bryan Benson, a professional with 27 years of experience, as our CEO. Global events in Vietnam, Dubai, and Antalya, thousands of cards sold, and the launch of the AI agent ecosystem. Today, we stand on the stage of Token 2049 Singapore, alongside the leaders of Binance, Tether, KuCoin, and Tron. And this moment once again proves Aurum is a global ecosystem of worldwide scale. But the most important part, this is only the beginning. The next decade will be one of expansion. In 2025 to 2026, we bring Aurum Neobank to the mass market. Hundreds of thousands of users, millions of transactions. The launch of Aurum Exchange, which reaches $5 billion in trading volume within its first year. AI bots manage over $100 million in assets. The first 5,000 cash-in and withdrawal terminals appear. Aurum establishes its presence in 10 countries and secures its position in the global market. In 2027 to 2028, we raise the bar. Neobank reaches 2 million users and 1.5 million cards. During this period, Aurum DEX, a next-generation decentralized exchange, launches. Personalized AI-based services emerge. Credit scoring and capital management. The first RWA deals worth $500 million are integrated. The terminal network expands to 20,000 points across 20 countries. By 2029, Neobank evolves into a super app. Flight bookings, taxis, car rentals, food delivery, while transactions exceed $20 billion. Aurum DEX cements its position within the ecosystem with $5 billion in trading volume, becoming a key element of Aurum's DeFi direction. AI agents operate for hundreds of thousands of businesses, and RWA grows to $5 billion. Aurum becomes an ecosystem that accompanies users every day. In 2030 to 2033, we reach global scale. Neobank's user base hits 12 million and over 10 million cards. Inside the super app, 15 to 20 integrated services and partnerships with 500 global brands. Aurum Exchange reaches $90 billion in trading volume and enters the top 10 global crypto exchanges. The terminal network expands to 100,000 plus locations across 50 plus countries. The annual Aurum Global Summit gathers 5,000 leaders. By 2033 to 2035, Aurum Neobank enters the top 5 global neobanks with a valuation of $10 billion plus. Aurum Exchange remains in the top 10, while Aurum DEX surpasses $20 billion in trading volume. AI manages over $5 billion in assets, and RWA exceeds $20 billion. We are present in 75 countries, with 1,000 global partners and over 100,000 terminals. The Aurum Global Summit brings together 10,000 industry leaders. Aurum becomes the symbol of a new financial era, a system that made finance accessible to everyone, a story that has already transformed the industry, and a future that already belongs to us.
Wow, there you go. A super introduction to the Aurum platform designed by Bryan Benson himself, and his vision is to create a billion-dollar brand with 1,000 millionaires in the process. So let's get tonight started. A warm welcome to all you guests, particularly those of you here for the first and second time. A lot of names I've never seen before. Welcome to tonight's call, and let's get started without further ado. I'm not going to read out all the names tonight, but let you know there's 151 people on the call right now. There might be a few coming late. There might be a few of you drop off. Let's see. Andy's here. Chris is here. Hugh Peters here. Cynthia, this iPhone. James F. Jason, John, Judith. I'm just going down through the names. I'm expecting a guest myself. Ken, all the Kens, all the Ks, all the Lady B, Mark Diamonds, Michael, Mike, Nathan. Gunnar's there. Welcome to the call. Mela, we've got Michael, Nathan. Let me go down. Purple One, you're back. Welcome. You must have enjoyed it last night. We've got Rich and Rich Alls on the call as well. Richard Wynn's here. Robin's here. Way down to the bottom. Stephen, look at someone. My guest is not here. My guest is not here. Let me go back up. Joe, James, iPhone. Grant, how are you? Donnie is here, DSF's here, Dominion's here, Dan Tannery's here, Chris is here, Charles is here. My guy's not here. Wow. Woo-hoo. There you go. We all get disappointments. There you go. Let's get it started.
Recording in progress.
Thank you so much for joining us on this presentation. We're here to take a good look at the Aurum Foundation. And I don't work for this company. I'm totally independent. I'm here just to express my own views, my own opinions. And it's always prudent to do your own due diligence, to seek professional advice, to consult someone in the know before you make any decisions. That's always good advice, regardless of the business you're exploring. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give any financial advice. I'm just here to share some of the due diligence I've done. You're perfectly entitled to do your own. I'd just like to share. Somebody asked me to review this, what I thought about it, and I'll show you the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever I can find. I've got to say I'm reasonably impressed. The legal structure looks very good. They have operations in Europe through the Neo Bank. They have operations in the Emirates through the Investment LLC. They have operations in Hong Kong, which is the foundation. I assume that's the, what would you call that? It seems to be like some kind of holding company up there, I would guess, but they do not have offices in Hong Kong. So, but they do, and many people have visited the offices in the Emirates. And very recently, they've started to expand now into North America, and they've obtained licenses in Canada. I'm not to say that we're doing business there. We certainly got the license at this stage. I assume they'll open offices at some point. And on the get-go with the lawyers, they should be able to start moving into those jurisdictions. So I'm not a lawyer. I can't tell you in which areas is compliancy applicable for you. I know in Europe they have these MiCA laws. I've heard about them, but I don't see them. I'm not in Europe. I know countries like China have banned cryptocurrency. They threw out Bitcoin years ago. And the Bitcoin mining moved to Texas in the United States, and it also moved to Russia, a lot of those machines that were operating in China. But yet and all, I can read that China is one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin, which is strange. Maybe they try to control their population. I don't know. I think regulation is a good thing. I think it's there to protect the consumer, but it's also to collect the taxes as well. So nonetheless, we're not really here to discuss that, but the legal structure is improving, it's growing, and that's good to see that there's continual movement towards regulation. Bryan Benson, the CEO, has had experience in this arena before with Binance, because Binance started many years ago, and his role was to do the compliance, was to open operations in all of LATAM in South America. And he was very successful at that. But we'll talk about him in a moment. Looking at the talent behind the company, it's quite impressive. We've got Leonardo from Sao Paulo. I don't know, he's not from Sao Paulo. He's living in Sao Paulo in Brazil. And but he worked at government level on blockchain projects for government. And he also then was a strategic partner in Binance. And that's why he's been appointed here by Bryan Benson. His role is to run the exchanges. Now, I said exchanges. Not one, there is two. There is a centralized exchange, which is up and running from November 2025. And the decentralized version is operating in the background and not released yet. So that's something to come very soon. In the middle of the picture, I know this gentleman does the presentations for Indonesia. He is the director of strategies. We've got Nicholas Kellen from Australia, great young talent there. He is head of partnerships for our big customers, our high net worth individuals. They deal directly with the VC advisory board, which is Tobias and Brent. Our African relations now are headed up by Bukhari. He's the ex-deputy finance minister from Sierra Leone. And of course, Nick Patel, who's been working with Bukhari. Nick has 25 years experience in global finance. And in fact, he is the CEO of Bank of Bullion. So when you hear Bank of Bullion, what are we talking about? We're talking about gold, and that's correct. This company does offer an offering or a product in gold, and you can learn more about that again. But the main man is Bryan Benson from United States, and he left university and went straight into the banking fraternity, into the banking world. He joined Morgan Stanley Bank, a very reputable bank, and he was a trader there. And when he left Morgan Stanley, he went to Binance, and that's where his career started to really flourish. Bryan was part of the team that brought Binance Pay to Binance. He also brought them the Lightning Network, but beyond that, he brought them almost 20% of the Binance revenue. Binance went from zero to $1 billion in 6 months. And the region that Bryan oversaw brought almost 20% of that volume. So can you imagine the size of the market he controlled, from Mexico the whole way down, Bolivia, Peru, Colombia, Paraguay, down at the bottom, Brazil, Chile, Argentina. He opened all of that. And with that came a lot of responsibility, a lot of education, a lot of experience, and a lot of connections. And that's why when you look at the CEO of Aurum, you feel that you're working with someone that's been here before, someone that's done it. It's not his first rodeo. He's been there, and I think that would be quite comforting. If you wanted to go to the top of Mount Everest, wouldn't it be better to go maybe with somebody who's already been to the top, or somebody who's already traveled that road? Well, he has navigated that for Binance, and here he is now navigating for Aurum. I did a quick Google on this guy because I'd never heard of him before. He came up everywhere, very positive. I just clicked his name, Bryan Benson. You can see it there, Bryan Benson, Binance. I typed in. I clicked images. I wanted to see what he looked like, and I can see various images showing different age groups, and that tells us there's history here. That's important. This is not some kind of actor. This is the real Bryan Benson. There's history here. You can see him with the Binance shirt. So that was all very, very positive. Forbes has written positively about this opportunity. At one point, they had invited Bryan Benson to the Forbes Council, which is quite interesting. They respect his talent, his knowledge in this arena. What also was impressive was the relationship, however they created that, with the issuing bank for Visa and MasterCard. On the screen, it says Visa, but also I know that MasterCard is also providing service there. And that's quite exceptional, because to co-brand, when you have the Visa name and the Aurum name on the one piece of plastic, I mean, that's not easy to do. There is a rule that your logo cannot be bigger than Visa's, but it's quite a big logo there. And it's quite an interesting partnership, because you would assume that Visa or the issuing banks know who this Bryan Benson guy is. They would obviously know who the directors are. They've probably asked for their accounts from previous years. I'm sure they've looked at their licenses. So when a bank or an issuing bank is doing its due diligence, that might give a little bit of comfort or confidence, let's say, to the wider audience. So that was quite impressive. We tracked him last year, 2025. He was everywhere, from Argentina to London to Netherlands, Germany, Slovenia, Greece, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Singapore here at this event, the largest blockchain event. 25,000 people showed up here, and Bryan Benson was on stage, and it might be worth your while having a listen to his piece there. And I mean, Richard Tang is the CEO of Binance. Richard and Bryan are buddies. They work together in Binance, but of course, Richard got the CEO job, and I know a lot of people are happy about that, because otherwise, had Bryan got that job, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation today. He also spoke across the Emirates at the Finance Week. He's spoken, in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, right around the world at every major conference. He's been interviewed by Cointelegraph, Benzingo, even Wendy O, the social media expert. She's interviewed him. There's something else you might want to listen to in part of your due diligence, just to hear her questions, and more importantly, listen to Mr. Bryan Benson's answers. We have this image here, him on stage, a panel of 8 experts. And Bryan Benson here, second from the right, but look who's next to him. Sebastian is the co-founder of Sandbox, and Anton, the co-founder of 1inch. These are major blockchain platforms. And to see that Bryan Benson has been exposed here on stage as an expert tells you the clout or the appreciation people have to put him in that position. And here he was also invited to the Satoshi Roundtable. This is a private forum. It's held once a year. The media are not allowed into this, but this is where the future of fintech, financial technology, the future of AI and blockchain is discussed at a very, very, very high level. And then we have a picture of Mr. Bryan Benson with his arm around the billionaire. And yes, that billionaire is the founder of Binance. And that tells us all that, well, we are dealing with the real Bryan Benson. And And I think that's very, very, very important. And then recently they introduced Mr. Andrew Isaacs, and this guy's incredible. He's maybe too big for Aurum. This gentleman has 18 years experience in investment banking. In fact, he operated a fund of $23 billion. Now, I believe Aurum's trading fund is in around 150 million. That is a tiny piece of action compared to this man's experience. So when I see them drafting in this corporate talent, and as that corporate talent starts to grow, not forgetting, of course, Mr. Shane Miranda, an incredible gentleman who built a billion-dollar brand himself. He's now working as well with the company. When you put all of that talent together, it certainly looks very, very impressive to me, at least. Anyway, the Canadian license that they talk about, I haven't seen it. I see what I see on this screen is a registration of a company. It says Aurum Neo AI Technologies Corporation in Canada, British Columbia, registered in the North Vancouver, officially reflected in the registry. We can see the company number there. So again, I want to say that that's not saying they're operating there. That says they're taking the first steps, I assume, to operate in North America. They're taking the first process, the compliance to get licensing, to work with lawyers, to open office, I'm sure might be a condition of that. And then, of course, then to roll out that market sometime in the future. But that shows a positive move forward. I mean, these licenses aren't easy to come by, and it's good to see that they're taking these steps. Let's move away from the company now and take a quick look at the product range, which is quite impressive as well. This point of sale terminal is being tested and tried. I actually used it myself. It didn't look as nice as that one now. That looks very, very nice contours, nice images. What I used was very like the traditional larger machine you would see in the shops, the machines you're familiar with. I tested it, it worked. The idea of this machine is it accepts not only fiat currency, but it's programmed to accept and transfer cryptocurrency payments. And that's a very interesting option for businesses in the future or merchants. What might be in it for someone like yourself is that once this goes live, and maybe you were the person that introduced it to the shop, because we all know friends, family, relatives, business colleagues, school friends that are running businesses, they might like this machine. But if you are the person that's putting it into those locations, your digital wallet is included in the software, meaning that every time this device is used on the blockchain, you're there for a potential reward every transaction. You're getting a tiny, what they called it to me, micro payment. So that's quite interesting. They are designing ATM machines. They've also launched the exchange for public beta testing. I know lots of customers have reported to me about this and how they found it. I have no particular use for something like this myself, but this is where you can swap, change, trade, do all these different transactions. And I've been told it's worked seamlessly without any glitches in the public beta test. So private beta test is testing in the background, you don't see it, but public database out there today, it's not in its full glory, it's not fully branded yet, but it is working. And the big promise here from Bryan Benson is that he's willing to give 50% of the commissions generated on this exchange back to the community. Now, I did say that Binance did $1 billion in 6 months. Can you imagine Binance saying to the client base, hey guys, we've done great, we've hit $1 billion. We'd like to give $500 million back to you guys. I mean, that ain't going to happen. But here, as Bryan Benson's marketing mode, he's saying, well, you know what, once we kick this into touch, once we start moving this one, we're going to offer 50% of the commissions it generates back to the user base. I think that's going to be very, very attractive to drive traction to this particular site. They've also got a liquidity product on it as well. They call it liquidity staking, where you can generate between 17 and 20% a year on your coins. Now, for those of you that might have a little bit of Bitcoin sitting in a wallet doing nothing, maybe you have a little bit of USDT sitting on exchange that's been sitting there for years doing nothing. By staking here, you can generate 17 to 20% a year. That certainly beats any bank. That certainly beats real estate, where you might get 5 or 10% if you're lucky annual yield. But to get 17 to 20%, I think that's exceptional. The rewards are added to your account on a daily basis. You don't have to leave it for a year to get these benefits. It's every single day. So if you've got Bitcoin in there, you're getting free Bitcoin added to your account every day. If you've got Ethereum, you're getting free Ethereum. If you've got XRP, you're getting free XRP added to your wallet every day. And you can withdraw at any time, any part or all. There's no lock-in. I assumed staking meant, well, you stake it for 30 days or 6 months or a year. Well, no, you can stake it for 10 minutes if you want to take it out. So there's no time on it. And I thought that's a very, very interesting product, let's say. I did attend a Zoom where Bryan Benson was introducing Nick Patel from Clink Gold, and they partnered up for a great product where there's physical gold available, 24 karat, 999 pure gold bullion. 50% off the product will be given to you in the physical metal. 50% will be allocated towards an algorithm that will trade gold against the dollar, therefore producing a yield. Because otherwise, gold just looks at you just as a piece of metal. It's a rock. It doesn't do anything. So if 50% was in the metal, that physical asset, and 50% trading gold, so you can get a yield, I thought that was a very interesting product. They call it a real world asset. And here we have Bryan Benson himself in a longer interview that I was able to get my hands on. This is only a part of it, just 1 or 2 minutes. But again, I'd like you to listen to this with the intention of being able to repeat exactly everything he says. And when you listen with that intensity, then you might hear a few buzzwords that might be interesting to you. So he's already helped Binance to $1 billion. He wants to do it here for Aurum, but in the process, he would like to generate 1,000 millionaires under his command. Let's have a listen.
We're on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires.
I don't know what happened there, but we'll go again, Bryan.
We're on a mission to create 1,000 millionaires that don't have $1 million today. So if we can come up with a system whereby there's, hundreds of thousands of people in there, but 1,000 of these people turn into millionaires, then those assets are inside of our platform. That turns us into a unicorn right away. And so that's really the goal that I have as an executive at the company, is how do we get people that don't have $1 million today to get them to $1 million through saving, through yield bearing assets, through a lot, compounding interest, through a lot of these things that have been around for a long time, but that not everyone in the world uses. And these are tools that are super important to get us there. So that's how we're measuring it internally, is if we can get to the point where we have 1,000 people that have become millionaires through our system and through working with our products, then that gets us really close to the unicorn valuation. And we want to be a fintech unicorn. I think Binance was the fastest fintech unicorn ever in the history. Yeah. I think it took less than 6 months. We used to have a slide about that in our pitch deck. So I'm pretty sure I've done this before. I've been involved in one of the fastest growing fintech unicorns in the world. And I think what we have at Aurum is actually very similar to when I started at Binance.
So a couple of things he said. He wanted to create 1,000 millionaires. He's done this before. And I think what we have here at Aurum is very similar to when I started at Binance. So this man is starting to feel that energy, that growth, that same, whatever it was when Binance, I mean, these things only happen once in a lifetime for some companies. Remember, Binance was faster than Tesla, Apple, Microsoft to $1 billion. And this man was in that wind of movement. And again, he was speaking recently to the community, and he was very, very impressed with the growth of the community. Here's the bad news, guys. No freebies. So it's not one of these sites where it's free. It's actually a subscription-based site. It's $20 for the whole year. So all in all, it's going to cost you 4 cups of coffee to allow you to avail of this opportunity. A bit like paying your gym subscription, which gives you access all year to the running machine, the rowing machine, the weight lifts, the steam room, the sauna. This $20 gives you access to the product suite offered by the company. Now, this is quite interesting because you can promote Amazon, you can promote YouTube, you can promote a website, but you're not licensed to promote financial products. You're not allowed to give any, what do they call it, guarantees and these types of things, because you're not a financial advisor. You're not licensed to do that. So, but what you can do is you can promote a website. And once the customer engages themselves, once they pay their subscription, then they're dealing directly for the products with Aurum, who have the license, not you. So make sure you're not out there selling securities and these type of things. But you can, of course, sell a $20 website or recommend it, and then allow the customer themselves to engage with the company for those products if it floats their boat, of course. So that's the bad news out of the way. It's going to cost $20. There are no freebies. I think that's a good thing. And by the way, they don't pay out for recruiting. That's another important thing. It's often seen that if you're incentivized to get paid for recruiting somebody, that's in some jurisdictions that's not seen in good light. But here, if you recruit somebody and they pay $20, you don't get anything. Nobody pays nobody. That all of that $20 stays with the company, and it's scalable. Let's say there was 1 million customers on here. Well, there's $20 million for the company to run its operations, to pay its staff, to pay its license fees and its taxations or whatever's involved. And then that's scalable. If there was 2 million customers, well, then there's another $20 million. So I think that's good from a company perspective, because everybody wants a strong company, but nobody gets paid for recruiting here. And I think that's very good. If, on the other hand, one of your customers decided to use a product and there was a sale or a movement or a transaction, then yes, you would be entitled, but not on recruitment, not on signing people up. And I think that's very, very a wise move from the lawyers of this company to put that in place. There is another company that's been operating for over 70 years, and they charge something like $35 and nobody gets paid. You would get paid, of course, if products were moved, but not on the sign up. So I think that's very clever. They're following a company called Amway Corporation, who had their compliance team put that in. So it's here as well. So I just wanted just to know that. Moving on, we've talked about some physical products. We talked about ATMs. We talked about physical gold. We talked about a Visa card, which is a physical plastic card. We talked about point of sale terminals, but they also have a range of digital products available. And this one, I'm told, is the customer's favorite. It's called the EXAI bot, or the XAI bot. And the interesting thing here, this has been running since the 11th of January 2023. So it's stood the test of time, shall we say, 3 years down the track. It's done very, very well. Originally, it was not open for retail. It was designed purely for those accredited investors, for those high net worth individuals. They had a limited amount of customers using that. I believe Forbes wrote about that. Forbes wrote that Bryan Benson closed a $12 million VC into the Aurum business. And there are rumors circulating that VC, that venture capitalist, offered Aurum $100 million for this product, this one single product, and they refused it. And about 1.5 years after they launched this product, they decided to open what's known as an affiliate program, as an option to generate a customer base, a user base, a community that would thrive and support an exchange if they ever were going to launch an exchange. Well, I've already told you that's now happened. They have launched the exchange. But back in 2023, their intention was to do that at some point in the future. And of course, the affiliate program was the idea to generate a lot of customers. So I think that part started in September 2024. 2024. When I look at any of the videos or the websites, they seem to be 2024, which is still 2 years away. But actually, prior to that, there is evidence that they were trading in 2023. Some people have been able to see the trading accounts, see the early deposits into Binance, into Kraken, into OKX, into KuCoin. They're able to see those early deposits back in 2023, January 23. So there's a lot of history out there. What we have on the screen here shows results up to April 2026. And for the month of April, they commanded 18 million in profits from this one product. Of course, that's not available to you or me or anybody like that. That's what the trading fund generated. What you get would be determined by your own account. But on average, they're talking about 17.5% a month, which is exceptionally good. And you can see there the trading pool as of the 1st of May was 123 million. So, and that's what I was trying to make about Andrew Isaacs. Andrew Isaacs was running a $23 billion fund, 23 billion. This is 123 million. So Andrew Isaacs might be just too big for Aurum, but it's good to see that the skills or the quality of those type of people engaging with this particular platform. The results in 23 were up and down. Results in 24 were very good. Results in 25 and 26 are very good. You can see they're quite smooth. 15, 17, 17, 17, 17, 16, 17, 18, 18, 17, 17, 17. And that's where they're coming up with their average of about 17.5% a month. Of course, for those that try, say, $100 or up to $249, those customers are benefiting to the tune of around about 10%. Again, that's not a guarantee. That's, there's no, I suppose, I think how they phrase it is past results do not, past results do not count for anything in the future. I mean, you can't predict the price of Bitcoin in 3 days from now. You couldn't tell me what price it is. That would be a total guess. And likewise here, so past performance is not indicative of any future results, but based on what they have done over this last number of years, these are the figures they're showing, and they're showing these on their websites and on their communication channels. So customers that are trying between 1 and 250 are getting approximately 10% a month. For those customers that can do more than that, let's say 249 up to 999, those customers are enjoying 11% a month. Those customers that can do between 1 and 2,500 are getting 12% a month or thereabouts. And you can see clearly yourself, obviously, the larger the deposit, the better the potential benefit for that account. When they showed me this, I had quite a few questions, 3 or 4 anyway. And the first question I had was, if you're paying out all this money to these customers, where do you guys get your money? Well, how do you make money? And the answer I was given is, it's on the screen in front of you. And I didn't understand at that time what they meant, but I do now. If the fund is generating 17.5%, and let's say your account was getting 10%, therefore that spread, that difference of 7% stays with the company. So that's generally how trading worked. I did speak to some professional traders to ask them, how did the profit share operate in Forex trading and in cryptocurrency trading? And they told me generally it would start at 60-40, where the customer would get 60% of the profit. 40% would remain with the trading team for putting that effort in, for generating those profits. Bigger customers could negotiate 70-30. And what they call the hedge funds, the big guys, the billion-dollar companies, they can negotiate 80% of the profits stay with them, and only 20% would go to the trading team. So this is how Aurum have decided to carve it up, 10, 11, 12, depending on the deposit. So in every instance, the company's making money as well. So if you're getting 10, they're getting 7. If you're getting 11, they're getting 6. If you're getting 13, they're getting 4. If you're getting 15, they're getting 2. So that's how the company continued to make money. My next question was, can you withdraw these profits? And the answer was yes. And I said, yes, what? And they said, well, yes, you can. And I said, but when? They said, whenever you want. I said, like every day, can you do it? Well, if you want, yes. So you can take your profit any day. They said, yes. So I was happy to hear that. The next question I asked them was, what do you charge to withdraw these funds? Because I've heard about platforms that are charging 8%, 9, 10%, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I thought it was very fair when I was told that these guys charge 1% for a withdrawal. I mean, I think that's very, very fair. I mean, no matter where you go, the post office, the bank, the bureau de change at the airport, there is fees. There's no doubt about that. You just can't sit in the booth and cross money over one for one. There's got to be margins to allow businesses to function. Money makes the world go round. So, so for a 1% fee, I think that's very fair. So those are the type of questions I had, and I'm sure you have your own questions, but that was that product. I was able then to get my hands on a couple of accounts just to follow them, see how they were doing. This account here started on the 17th of April. Can you see that over the left-hand side? 17th of April created. It was created with $500, but I couldn't see $500. I saw 882. And the reason it's 882 is because the $500 had traded its way up to 882. It actually made $382 profit. So I wanted to know, how long did it take for this account to move from 500 to 882? And the answer is on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Can you see on the bottom right with the blue arrows pointing, it says the 17th of September. Well, if we're looking on the left-hand side of the 17th of April, and this screen grab is given to us on the 17th of September, that's exactly 5 months. And therefore, the answer is, in 5 months, this account went from a $500 deposit to a positive balance of 882. It made actually 382 in dollars. In terms of a percentage, that's quite exceptional. And to work out percentage is quite simple. You take the profit and you put it on top of the deposit made. You then divide that deposit into the top number. You divide the deposit into the profit to generate the percentage gain. And you can see that this account has done 76% or thereabouts in 5 months. Now, imagine you bought a property anywhere in the world at $100,000, let's say, and 5 months later, you were able to sell it for $176,000 in 5 months. You made $76,000. That's the equivalent here. So when I see a small account like $500, and I know you can do a lot less, you can do $100 if you want, but at that level of account, I've got to say I was very impressed with that. Then I was able to get a larger account. This one started on, you can see here, the 10th of April, 2025. Again, this one was started with 10,000. I can't see 10,000 anywhere on that screen. Well, I can. I see it here, VIP. But yeah, the fact that that's blue, because what happens if you had between 2.5 and 499, that square would go blue. If you're in the business section, that would go blue. But this is the VIP. That has gone blue. So yes, it was a $10,000 account. Actually, that's the first time I've seen that, noticed that. But anyway, so I can see 12,360. So my question is, how long did it take this account to go from 10,000 to 12,360? And the answer is on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. 16th of May. So from the 10th of April to the 16th of May is 1 day short of 5 weeks, not 5 months, 5 weeks. So this account actually made 23.6%, 23.6% in 5 weeks. So I was able to track this account all of last year. And the next time we got a look at it was the 24th of June. Can you see the date here on the right, the 24th of June? And that account went from 12.3 up to 15,500. It made another $2,000. The next time it was observed was the 10th of July last year. It made another $2,000. Now that's after 12 weeks, it made 74%, because 10,000 was the deposit, 7,400 is the profit. That is 74% in 12 weeks. And after 4 months, this particular account doubled. Now, the customer was very impressed. They were expecting 14 or 15% a month. Based on the information given them, that's where they were expecting 14 or 15%. What they didn't realize was that this little button here called the reinvestment button was engaged. You can turn that on or turn that off at your discretion. This case, it was turned on. And therefore, you didn't get that 14 or 15% that they were expecting. They got 23% in the first month, because it has a compounding effect. What it actually means is when that button is turned on, you're instructing the company to leave the profit generated today in Binance with the original deposit. So you've got profit and deposit working collectively for the following trading. And as you compound that up, I mean, there's videos out there that explain the effects of compounding. That's why this doubled in 4 months, because that reinvestment button was on. I would say, well, I'm guessing if that was not on, this account probably would have done 60% in 4 months, like roughly 15% a month. But that compounded allowed it to double in 4 months, which was quite exceptional. A lot of people can't get their head around, well, how is this possible? How can they make all this money? And I had the same question, and they answered with this. They said, well, have you heard of CoinMarketCap, which I had? It's a third-party site, nothing to do with Aurum. And what it does is it aggregates the various prices of coins on the various exchanges. So let's say Bitcoin is $75,000 on Coinbase, and it's trading in Binance at 75,200, and it's trading in Kraken at 74,800. So it's the same Bitcoin, but it's different price on different exchanges. There's a variance. This site aggregates that to give you an average. So you can, just like a broad stroke looking, go, well, what price is Bitcoin today? Average about 75. What's Ethereum? Oh, it's about 2,000. So that's why this is designed. But here's the reporting for one coin here called Dogo that did 2,000% growth in 24 hours, 1 day, 2,000%. The one below it, Elevate, did 800% in 1 day. Look at Pepe, Trump did 400% in 1 day. So if Aurum are able to do what, 10 to 17% in a whole month, That's how it was presented to me. If, would that be feasible if these coins can do that day? So what actually the AI does is it goes in and has a look at certain situations, and it doesn't do any future trading. It does what's called high frequency spot trading. It spots an opportunity, goes and grabs that little profit. So imagine this coin Dogo or anyone you want, and the AI can see it going 10%. It's made 10% this morning. Oh, look, it's done 15%. My goodness, look at that one. It's up to 30%. It's done 30% today already. Now it's done 50. Now it's done 100. Now it sees 200. They can see that trend. All it needs to go in is go and snipe a little bit of profit, just take a little percentage, just 1%, 0.5%, 0.3 of 1%, not to ride it the whole way up, because cryptocurrency is very volatile. It can go up and down as fast, and therefore the software is guided by a lot of factors. It's guided by news feeds coming out of every other platform. It's guided by news feeds coming out from the traditional news channels. It's guided by news feeds coming from social media. And it also, I'm told, they pay Bloomberg for what's known as the Bloomberg feed, whatever that means. I assume it's some kindly highly paid service that offers a lot of financial information coming down the news channel, so that it can react appropriately in the trading. So there you go. If some of these coins can do 400% in a day, then it may not be unreasonable to think that Aurum could do 10% in a month, let's say. Now, that's just the EXI bot. They've about 8 or 9 more of these things. There's one called the Pro bot. There's another called the Zeus bot, and it kind of trades Bitcoin against the dollar by itself, Ethereum against the dollar, Doge against the dollar, Solana against the dollar. Whereas the EXI bot, it trades the top 20 pairs on CoinMarketCap, and these ones only do single pair trading for those people that have Bitcoin. You see, maybe you want Bitcoin, you don't want to sell Bitcoin, so you can just trade the Bitcoin and get paid in Bitcoin, so you're not selling it. Other people are selling their Bitcoin to put into the EXI bot, but you can use these bots just to keep it in its native currency and its native coin and earning that coin. That's quite good. They have a new one called the Nero bot, which is doing very well, I'm told. And they're continuing to develop more of these in the background. So really, that's it for today. I want to talk briefly about the card. We mentioned it earlier. It's quite interesting because there's no KYC presently required for the Infinity card. I believe they will produce some cards in the future that do require KYC, but in this instance, they're not asking for passports, driver's license, utility bills, or bank statements. And I found that very strange. Generally, these companies are asking for those details, and it appears Bryan Benson has found a way that you don't have to present that information, and that's quite interesting. You can only trade up to 100,000 a month on these cards. If you do more than that, then there would be a requirement to provide AML, which is anti-money laundering. But I don't know who needs 100,000 a month on a card. Maybe some people do, but so that's pretty cool. It also works on Apple and Google, so you can have these virtual cards. In fact, that's what you're actually getting, is a virtual card. The physical card is also available. However, they only tend to give that out at events. There was an event a few months ago in the Maldives, and they had over 600 cards handed out there on that one day. They give out 600 of these Visa cards to the participants at that event. From time to time, you can collect them in the office if you're in that region. Maybe make sure you have an appointment. And I heard recently also that they have found a provider that will be able then to ship the physical card. Now, the physical card, it doesn't cost anything extra. It comes with the virtual card, and you actually have 2 different card numbers, 16 digits on this one and 16 on that. You're getting 2 for 1, but a lot of people just like the virtual one. You just double click the little button and go tapping like that. That's fine. And then other people kind of prefer the physical card, but as I said, that's going to be difficult to get, so don't be expecting that anytime soon until they decide how they're going to deliver that. You see, because you're not giving them your address, because you're not giving them any KYC, it's very hard for them to know where to send it. So from that point of view, maybe the virtual card is a better option. And there's going to be 4 of these. I'm going to show it working here just now. This is not new, by the way. This has been around since June 25. Have a look at this.
Here we go then, second official transaction.
No, purple and white. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Mina.
Thank you.
there you go. Imagine being able to spend cryptocurrency in the local grocery store. Imagine being able to use it for your car parking or your toll bridge. Imagine being able to book a holiday, or it's incredible. And that's it for tonight. So I want to thank you for attending. Please do get back to the person that shared this information with you. Get your very valid questions answered. Make sure you do your due diligence. Seek professional advice. And I hope the decision you make is the right one for you. Somebody was asking, would I explain or maybe run over the affiliate program they've put together? I'm happy to do that if we want to stay on. I probably need 5 minutes to discuss that. But for those of you that just wanted that information, a little bit about the company, a little bit about their products, that's all I would have at this stage. For those of you who'd like to stay on for a minute or two, I can show you how the affiliate program operates, which is quite interesting. So affiliate programs are very popular. They are, most companies, I believe, have an affiliate compensation plan. I know that Binance have one. That's Bryan Benson's familiar with that one. I think Crypto.com have one. I know that Tesco in the UK and Europe have an affiliate program. I definitely know that Apple have one. If you go to the bottom of Apple website, they've one. And really what an affiliate program is instead of spending money on Apple or not on Google ads or spending money on Facebook marketing or spending money on television, there's a budget set aside for a customer to refer another customer, because at the end of the day, there's nobody better to promote any product or service than an existing happy customer. Yeah. So therefore, they've set aside about 18.5% of their marketing budget. Instead of giving that to the Super Bowl like Crypto.com did last year, instead of spending it on television or marketing, they keep that 18.5% and share it in an affiliate structure for customers that think the product's good and wants to tell other people about it. That's really all an affiliate program is. It's a thank you bonus. I like to call it that. It's a thank you bonus for a referral. So with that said, when you start the affiliate program, you start as a Nova. Nova means new, and it's free. I thought that was very good. There's no charges for it. It doesn't cost money. You don't have to put any money in to get the referral system going. You don't even have to have any money trading yourself. You don't need an account. You do need an affiliate membership, that $19.99, but you don't have to have money trading. And I thought that was good. So imagine you didn't even have a product. It's a bit strange, if you didn't have the product, why would you recommend it? I found it a little bit strange, but I think there's a compliance reason for this. Imagine I owned a Toyota car dealership and you came to work on my forecourt and I said, okay, you ready to get started? By the way, what do you drive yourself? I drive a Mercedes. Oh, you got to get rid of that one. Why? Well, if you're going to sell Toyota, you need to buy one of my cars. What? If you want to sell Toyota, you need to be driving a Toyota. You can't do that. You can't force a customer to buy a product to be eligible for commissions. So again, I see the talent here from the legal department in Aurum, very clever, where they've insisted on that $19.99 subscription without any referral fees. And here they're saying, well, even if you don't have the product, we'll pay you. Now, you only get paid on one line. It's not one of these multi-level things. It's just one line. So if you have one customer of 4 or 14 or 4,000 or 40,000, you're going to get paid 3% on all the deposits of those customers. It's very simple. Now, if you did want to get a pay rise up to, can you see 5% here? You can get 5% instead of 3%. What you need to do is accumulate a total of 7,500 in total team trading to qualify for that. And now you do need to have 100 trading. Why? Because now you're entering depth. You're entering depth of commission. It's not just one single tier. So they do at this point require you to have $100 personal contribution trading. What would happen when you reach this Voyager rank is you're now going to get 5% on your own customers. But if one of your customers referred a customer and didn't tell you about it, their Nova, they're getting 3% of that. You get that override. You get that difference between your 5 and their 3. You make 2% on every single deposit to infinity generations in depth, as long as you're the only overriding Voyager. So that's incredible. In addition to that, you get $100 instant bonus by smart contract hitting your account faster than you can click a button to get over there. The $100 is there instantly. It's incredible. And you get another bonus of 5% every single day based on the profits generated by all of your customers, and not all of your customers, but all of theirs and theirs and theirs. The entire organizational structure who have a trading account, you get 5% matching bonus equal to all of those profits from all of those customers if you're the only Voyager in the team. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you'd like a pay rise, and people do like pay rises, if you want to get 7%, you got to go Vanguard. To do that, the 7,500 that you had trading in the whole team, not just your customers, but theirs and theirs and theirs, once that grows to a total of 25 inclusive of the 7.5, it's not a new 25 of volume, it's 7.5. And as the business grows to 25,000, you also require 2 Voyagers in your structure. But the good news, you don't have to find these superstars. They can appear anywhere in the structure as long as it's not counted on the same leg. So 2 Voyagers, 25,000 in total trading, 300 in your own account, and you are a Vanguard. What does that mean? Well, it means you get 7% on your own customer deposits and rebuys, reinvestment, 7%, 7%, 7%. You used to get 3, then you got 5, now you're on 7%. If one of your customers gets a customer, they get 3% because they're Novas, they're getting 3% on deposits. You get 4% on those customers to infinity. Or if you're dealing with a Voyager, the Voyager gets 2% infinity, you get 2% on override on them as well. So this is known as a differential plan between where you're coded and where the customers are appearing. You also get an instant bonus of $500 the minute that criteria is achieved. $500 will appear instantly in your wallet. And now your daily matching bonus is increased from 5% to 7.5%. So on all open volume to infinity generations in depth, you're getting 7.5% of every profit of every customer. Could be thousands of customers. If you're overriding a Voyager, they're getting 5% on their group. You're getting 2.5 override on the top of all of that, because the company's only paying out 7.5 in total. Somebody's getting 5, you're getting 2.5. If there is no Voyagers, you're getting all of it. You're getting all of the 7.5 on every customer to infinity. Even if they're putting in Bitcoin and you don't have any, even if they put in Ethereum and you don't have any, you can build a portfolio of coins based on this one commission. And you might only have $300 trading, yet not all people put in 1, 2, 3 Bitcoins. You're getting paid in Bitcoin every day. So if you've understood the bones of what I've said there in them first 3 ranks, you understand 70%, 80% of the affiliate program. It's just progression. A little bit more volume when the 25 goes to 62.5, a little bit more structure, you jump up to 9%. $1,000 bonus and 10% every day matching bonus. If you hit Oracle, you're getting 12% on deposits, 15% matching bonus daily on the profits. You also get a shareholder bonus every 3rd month. They pull 3.125% of all profits. And on a 3-month cycle, they share that with Oracles and above. So you can actually get paid on business that you're not doing. You get paid in your own group, but in the entire customer base before your time, all trading profits, 3.125% is reserved for Oracles and above. That's a great, position to thrive for. The cash bonuses are interesting: 2,000, 3,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000. And there are 15 ranks, not just 7 that's on the screen. The next one is elites. Those guys are getting a $20,000 bonus. Magnets get 50. Mythoses get a $100,000 bonus. Legends earn a $150,000 one-time bonus. And if you want to be one of Bryan Benson's millionaires, and we did hear him say that earlier, I want to generate 1,000 millionaires. Well, I have no doubt. If you make your way to Dominion, you are unquestionably one of Bryan Benson's millionaires, because this bonus by itself, never mind the 150, the 100, the 50, the 20, whatever was on the first page, add to that all the direct profit bonuses, add to that all the matching daily bonuses, add to that the shareholder bonuses. You're one of Bryan Benson's millionaires. And I want to congratulate our good friend Brad for doing that in this last 2 days. So well done, Brad, to you, sir. So with that said, there are more ranks, but I think the purpose of tonight was to give you an honest and fair overview of the corporate structure and the people involved, to take a quick look at the licensing and the structure. We took a little bit of look at the product range that they're orchestrating and developing. And we took a look at this as well, and we did all of that inside an hour for you. So with that said, that's it from me. I wish you every success in your decisions. Again, don't be misled that high earnings are easily achieved, okay? There's work to be done. There's skills to be developed. There's time and effort to put in. But there appears to be something here for everyone. If it's an extra $100 a week that you need, I'm sure this plan can provide it. If it's $100 a day, I'm sure this plan can provide it as well. So with that said, have a great rest of your day, and I hope the decision you come to is the right one for you and for your family. Thanks again, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.
Recording stopped.